We are doing Monday Masterclass, and we have Jenna on the call. I'm so excited. Okay, so you get to tell us if it's Huttula or Huttula, or you get to do all the pronunciations. Isn't that fun when everyone's like, we just assume this is how we pronounce your name all the time, and then you get to actually tell us how it's actually pronounced. I want to hear your story because everybody here is going to be super inspired hearing it from you. And your team is in massive, continuous momentum. Every time I talk to Genevieve or Jean or anyone at corporate, they're like, Jenna's team is killing it. I know you got to go to Australia, which is super fun. So talk about a reason to be in momentum is the company's like, come tell more countries what we're doing. So you have the floor. I am so excited. I'm just gonna sit back and take some notes.
I love it. Well, you girls, thank you so much for taking time, first and foremost, out of your busy schedules, because you could be anywhere. And some of you are in cars, some of you are hanging out, hiding in closets, some of you are like away from kids, right? Because you're just going to take a minute to build your own belief. So that's what my hope and my goal is today, is that I'm going to help you see a bigger picture, believe more for yourself, but we're going to tackle 3 key components to building belief. Belief in you, belief in the company and the products, and then last but not least, belief in the industry. Because if you have these 3 foundational beliefs, like a rock solid, unshakable belief, there is nothing that's going to hold you back. So when you get negative Nancy over there telling you, oh, it's one of those things, you're going to be like, let me tell you, $200 million a day is paid out globally in our industry to those who are using products and sharing them with friends and family. $200 million a day gets paid out in our industry. So the next time you have negative Nancy being like, it's one of those things, and you're like, yeah, it is. And they pay out $200 million a day for real products. Now that's not just Plexus, that's the industry as a whole. But you're gonna have people that come against, you're gonna have ignorant people. They're just out there, and everybody knows they love to give their opinions, right? It is what it is, and it is how it happens. But I want to start at the beginning. So if you guys travel back in time, if we go back 4, 5, 6, 8 or 9 years ago, we are those crazy people. Not only do we homeschool, but we've had home births. We sold almost everything we owned to go into missions. We moved to Nicaragua. And in that time frame, my baby was 9 weeks old. We would hit the ground in Nicaragua for the first time. And we thought we were going to stay the whole summer. Like that was the plan. We had sold everything we had. Well, you know, you live in a foreign country long enough and eventually everybody gets something funky. It's what happens, right? But see, my funky was before I even went into that country. I had struggled with IBS issues for probably 20 something years of my life and just thought it was normal. Like the joke in our house, my husband was like, I can always tell when you're pregnant because we've had 7 babies. So he's like, you poop. Because if you're not pooping, you're not pregnant. But if you're pregnant, you poop consistently. I don't know what it is about those hormones and those surges. Sometimes it's the backwards. Other people are the opposite way. But he was like, oh. So I always had struggled for our entire marriage with IBS type issues unless I was pregnant. And then I just got other issues, right? You have kids, you have lots of kids, you gain weight, you can't lose weight, you go on the crazy cycle. Anybody else tried the drops? Low calorie, no calorie, artificial sweetener. How about the Weight Watchers, the Slim Fast? I mean, anybody else ever done all the things? All the things got me into adrenal fatigue and failure. My thyroid was completely out of control, but I didn't know because I had doctors telling me that's normal. You have lots of babies, you have lots of kids. That's how you're gonna feel. You don't get sleep. You're not ever gonna lose weight again. Just Jesus loves you. Just like he doesn't care your weight. And I'm like, I don't care either, but I just want to feel good. I just wanted to feel good again. When we were in Nicaragua and I was getting sick, everybody else got better. I didn't. So we ended up coming home because I was losing gobs of hair in the shower. Now, postpartum hair loss is something different than this type of hair loss. We've all had babies, most of us maybe, and we lose that little pouch right here, right? Like you end up bald right here, right there. And then you think bangs is going to solve the problem. So we all go and get bangs. or you get the mommy cut, or then we wear the headbands or whatever. You're just trying to hide that. But it was beyond just this. It was like in the back. It was over here. I was all underneath. I was just loads of hair was falling out. And so it would be 3 months after we got home that I ended up in the emergency room the first time. I say the first time because I would be in the emergency room 9 times in 9 months. It was like clockwork. Every month I was going to see a neurologist. I was seeing somebody. I got 0 answers, but a ton of pharmaceuticals. And we don't know what's wrong with you, but we think you should take this. Oh no, well, you should take that. And they don't talk to each other either. So then you're having side effects from this, and then you're having side effects from that. Well, then you need this new medicine over here. Well, in the long run, I ended up finally being diagnosed with autoimmune, Hashimoto's specific, and then undisclosed. So all that means is I was done being tested on. It's like, I'm done. I don't want to be poked on. I don't want to be prodded on. I want answers. And what I was getting was not a lot of answers, but a lot of pharmaceuticals. And I believed that there had to be a better way. I just didn't know what that looked like. Now, this is the crazy part. I knew about Plexus. I knew about it. One of my favorite women on the planet is Bridget Ryan. She's a diamond ambassador with Plexus. She was sharing on Instagram, and we had homeschooling in common. We had lots of babies in common. She loved to travel. Well, she started, it was the very beginning of her journey. She started sharing about this little pink drink. I thought it was Crystal Light. And then I found out it's one of those things. I was like, nope, I'm out. And so she would send me her link and I'd be like, that's so nice. It's working for you. I'm so glad. I'm over here, super crunchy. I spend hundreds of dollars on all of my supplements. I eat organic, I eat clean, I eat outrageous grocery store. I'm gluten-free, dairy-free, nightshade-free. I basically eat cardboard. I'm good. But I really wasn't. But I was a total supplement snob. I didn't know what I didn't know. Well, I watched her bounce back after having babies, and I didn't. I didn't. But I was so skeptical. I just let that part hold me back for a long time. For 4 years, long time. And it wasn't until I finally got to the end of my rope. Can anybody relate? You get to the end of the rope, you're like, I'm doing all the things. And if you're doing all the things and then you get to the end of the rope, what else do you have? I'm like, oh, I don't know what else to do. I literally had been doing everything I thought I was supposed to do, and it wasn't working. So I got a second opinion. I went with a functional medicine doctor. He's a naturopath. He's functional medicine and nutritionist, chiropractor, all in one spot. Like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. He is the first one who ever said anything to me about gut health. And he said, I think you have leaky gut syndrome and something called candida overgrowth. Now, this was 6 years ago. He's like, but you know what you need? You need these really expensive probiotics. You need these really expensive, like collagen, nasty mixed stuff in your soup. And it was awful. And it was crazy expensive, but I was so desperate that I did it. And like I said, I eliminated all of the food classes. We did the elimination protocol. We did all the things and didn't work. Well, I mean, I didn't get any worse, but I didn't get any better either. And then one of my favorite women on the planet that I've traveled oceans to see, her name is Jenna Smith. She came back from Nicaragua. She had been living there. That's who we went to see. She came back and she has her own story and it's incredible. But you go from living on the beach in a third world country, like living the life, to she had the reverse, like culture shock in the US, started struggling with her own things. So she was seeing stuff because see, she knew Bridget. I knew Bridget. Bridget didn't know that we knew each other in real life. Isn't that funny? Social media can do that. You can make incredible friends and connections. But Jenna and I have been friends for, 20 something years. So she reached out to me privately. She did the scary thing. And she said, I found something that works and I think you need it. Don't think I'm crazy. It's this little pink drink. And the first thing, I still have the message. I'm like, did Bridget Ryan get a hold of you? Did you trying her Crystal Light stuff? She's like, it's not Crystal Light. It's gut health. See, a year before Jenna reached out to me, I was learning about gut health. I was learning about leaky gut. I was learning about candida. I was trying everything. It wasn't working and it was crazy expensive. So when she brought the triplex to me, she's like, this is what you need. And this is why you need it. And then she showed me testimony after testimony after testimony. I was like, all right. It was literally a third of the cost that I was spending. So I said, what do I have to lose? But then I needed to convince my husband because I was spending a lot of money on things that weren't working. So this was like, one more thing, honey. Let's try one more thing. This is it. How many times is he going to hear that one more thing over and over again? And he wants you to feel better and he wants you to be better. But like at the end of the day, you're like, how is this going to be any different? I said, I don't know. I just know Jenna said it worked for her and I need it. I didn't even read the labels. She said all natural, plant-based, nothing artificial. It was gluten-free, non-GMO. I was like, okay, that sounds great. But see, I love her and I know her and I trust her. So when she told me, I believed her. A little skeptical on how it was all going to work or if it would work for me, but I trusted her. That's really key for belief. See, at the time, I didn't believe in me, but I believed in her. So I borrowed her belief. And within record time, I started seeing a difference. I was going to the bathroom. I was sleeping. I had more energy. My joints didn't hurt. My rings were getting loose. In the first 30 days, I didn't lose any weight, but I lost like 3 or 4 dress sizes. By 3 months in, I had refused to get on a scale because it's the devil. It is. Just trust me. That scale will not always move in the pace you want it to move. It doesn't mean the products aren't working. It doesn't mean that it's not working for your customers or your VIPs. It just means that they have a lot of stuff that they're full of and they got to get rid of that in order to move on to that next level. By 3 months, I went to the doctor's appointment and they were like, what are you doing? You look great. My hair was growing back. My skin was clearing out. I had developed adult onset acne all over. It's just crazy. It's at 40 something years old. I'm like trying to cover all the adult acne. I'm worse than my teenage kids. And that did a number because now I'm bald and I have acne. Bald, meaning like no hair on your head, bald, having to wear wigs bald. Because at that point in time, we had to shave my head because my hair was then growing out in such sparse amounts that it was just beyond covering up with bangs or a bow or a hat. So when I walked into that office for the first time, we had to do the scale because that's what they make you do. And I had lost 25 pounds. I was like, oh, snap. Cool beans, it's working. But see, by 30 days into my journey, I didn't have to say anything about Plexus. I went to church and people noticed it in me first. So then they asked me, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I'm trying this little pink drink. I think it's working. I'm not really sure yet. I'm not 100%. They're like, I don't care. It's working. I need it. So I accidentally went silver the first promotion and I got my products covered. I was like, well, this is really cool. See, I was never going to do this as a business, ever. I had 20 years ago, had started a business, loved the model of the business, but did not have leadership, did not have personal growth, did not have accountability. I didn't know how to manage my time effectively or efficiently. And so I ended up with $25,000 in credit card debt and a husband who said, you are never doing network marketing again, ever, like with a big E and an exclamation point. So part of our plan when he said I could try Plexus was you can use it, but you're not selling it and you're not sharing it with anybody. I was like, I'm not never doing that. I'm too busy. I don't have time. I have 7 kids. We're homeschooling. We're in ministry. I don't have time for that. But see, what ended up happening was I was a product of the products. The products work. When you take them and you're consistent, guess what? People notice. And at that point, it wasn't 70-pound weight loss, which did come 13 months later. But it wasn't in the beginning. It was just that I was feeling better. I had a different continence. I wasn't exhausted all the time. I wasn't living on my couch. I was excited to be thriving and not just surviving. By 6 months into my journey, things were rapidly changing. Like we were coming off of medication. My blood work was changing. This is the point I want to make. It wasn't just the products. I didn't just sip on my little pink drink on my couch. I had already been implementing things in my nutritional component, which I'm such an advocate for today. If you incorporate nutrition and supplementation, and then you add a little bit of movement, not crazy movement, just a little bit of movement. It's a catalyst for an incredible transformation. And that's all I did. I walked 70 pounds off. I didn't join a gym. I didn't go crazy. I just consistently started moving my body. And the products worked. I gave them time to work. I fueled my system with that. And then before I knew it, everything started to change. And so on that note, that started to build belief in me that the products actually worked. So then I had a sound belief in the products. Then the belief in the company came the first convention. So I started sharing Plexus in January. And then I went to convention. I swept the whole contest on accident. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how we got paid. I was just getting free money in my account. I had no idea. I would just like hear, bless a friend. I was like, Oprah, you need this and you need this and you need this. And then along the way, we created a real business opportunity. And because of the negative experience that I had personally had, I made it my mission to change the face of network marketing. I wanted to do it in a way that nobody had done it before, or I hadn't seen it done before, but I knew that it could be done. So we started loving and serving others well, treating them the way we want to be treated. So we showed up to that first convention, having swept the whole thing, showed up to Black Tie Gala with a Ross dress that I got for $12. But this is the part of my story that I hope brings you more further belief in not just the products and the company, but in the business, is when I showed up to Las Vegas, first time I had traveled in 20 something years by myself. I didn't have anybody to go with me. My friend that was going last minute canceled. It was all on me. Husband and I have a huge argument, huge fight. Why are you going? You shouldn't go. You don't have money. We don't have time for this. He's got to stay home with babysit the kids. I'm like, I'm going. I know I'm supposed to be there. I don't know what's there. I don't know what it looks like, but I have a feeling this is where I belong. I found my spot. I found that place. And I had more purpose and passion than ever before. And so I got off that plane. I took an Uber for the first time. I get to Las Vegas. I check into the MGM Grand. They do all the things. I have my little red Plexus card, right? The little Plexus debit, saved all my money on my little card. I turn around, I go get a bottle of water and a Kind bar, and it declines the card. Somebody had swiped my card and cleared it completely out. From the point that I checked in to the point that I turned around, my entire amount on that card was gone. I had zero money. And a husband who was really not happy at home. So I called him and I'm like, hey, because he was so unhappy, he was going to show me, right, that you have your Plexus card and that's it. I didn't have a debit card. I didn't have a credit card. I didn't have anything. And I was like, hi, I'm getting it figured out. They are going to like refund me the money, but I'm currently missing like $1,500 off my debit card. Can you like send me some money? No. No. So this is for those of you who have husbands and maybe aren't as supportive as you'd like them to be. No, you'll figure it out. I was like, oh, I'm going to kill him when I get home. But I'm here. I'm going to enjoy the moment I'm in. I'm going to reset my emotional state of being right now, because that could have ruined the whole trip, because he didn't see the vision. He didn't have a plan. He didn't know what was going on. He was just in the moment going to try and protect me from having this big audacious goal and dream that up till that point, I never really stuck with anything. So in his head, he literally thought he was protecting me from me, right? The chronic quitter, the giver upper, it gets too hard. It's too much. People are negative. Nobody wants my stuff. Then I would just self-sabotage. So in some weird way, he really did think he was protecting me. But that trip, I had earned every dinner that night. So I had dinner covered. I just learned about intermittent fasting. So I'm like, we're going to practice intermittent fasting. I'm going to eliminate breakfast. And then I had actually packed almond butter and rice cakes in my bag. So that's what I had for lunch. I lost 7.5 pounds the whole week I was there. It was fantastic. But the funny part is I came home from that and I was like more on fire than ever. totally forgave him. He did not have any idea what he did. He didn't know what he didn't know. So I came home with a newfound zest and excitement and passion. And then he was like, okay. Then he was like, did the Jerry Maguire thing. He was like, show me the money. Show me the money. So I got to work. I was a senior gold at that convention. I would go ruby the next month, and then I would earn silver stars twice. We earned it with my upline because everything that you do counts for her, and you guys get to go together. So we went the first time, and that was it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, I knew it was legit, but then I started to have belief in the company because I got to sit down and talk to executives. I got to see the building. I got to walk through the halls. I got to find out where the things were being packaged and manufactured and ask the questions. I left Arizona that first time so empowered that not only did I have the right products, but I was with the right company. So that built up my level of belief. Again, 2 months later, I earned silver stars for the second time, and I took my husband. I'm like, dude, you are going with me. We'll figure out the babysitting stuff. So it wasn't fully until we got off the plane in Arizona, and there was a nice gentleman in a tuxedo with a little sign, and it said, Mr. and Mrs. Kenneth, had his name, Huttula, on the card. That's how you say my last name, Huttula. And he looked at me, he was like, babe, that's our name. I'm like, I know. He's like, this is legit. I'm like, I know. So his level of belief. Now, we were earning enough, at that point, you're making enough to cover your products. My products covered, his products covered, kids, all 7 of them are getting covered. I'm having like play money for the first time. I can go to Chick-fil-A and I don't have to ask permission. Like Target dollar bins are my jam. I'm buying homeschool curriculum for the first time, not used or abused. I'm getting like the stuff that I always wanted. And he showed up and his level of belief started to elevate. He was like, babe, then he started to ask questions like, well, how do you actually get paid? So if he had asked me that a couple months before, I'd be like, I don't know. It just shows up. It's this plexus magic. Like they just tinkle it in your account. But at that point, I had educated myself to be able to share with him. And I was sharing with others along the way. So his level of belief started to rise. So he started belief in the products, belief in the company. But we didn't have belief in 2 other areas. Fully transparent belief in myself or the industry. So right after that, within a short couple of months, we went emerald within 14 months. It was incredible. And at that point, like I had done 0 leadership development, 0 personal growth. I could lead a VBS, a women's ministry, a Bible study, like all the things. But now I'm literally training other people how to do what we do, to duplicate what we do. And we knew at that point we had to have a simple system in place, and we didn't have one. Like we could bring them in, but we weren't keeping them. It was like a colander effect. They would come in and they would pour out the bottom. They would come in and they would pour out the bottom. But it was because I didn't understand at that point the value in personal growth, in mindset, in leadership development. So when we hit emerald, everything kind of hit the fan. We had a death in the family. We went on a road trip because we were not working. Nobody else was working. Like all these things started to happen. Our mindset started to go. Because see, we didn't have the belief in ourselves or the industry just yet. We knew we had the right products. We knew we were with the right company. And we knew we had an incredible compensation plan that actually worked. It wasn't sneaky and it was super simple to understand. But it wasn't till that point that we realized we had to have systems in place to be able to duplicate what we were doing, and they had to be stupid simple. Because if they're not, people won't do it. So we created an ATM system where we add them to team pages or potential pages, tag them in posts that are relevant to them, send them messages back with the link, so that way they're not losing the notification. And it was just that simple system. And some people come along and try to overcomplicate it, but that simple system propelled us from emerald to sapphire to diamond. And in that process, I learned about the value of personal growth and about leadership. And I learned about the industry from John Maxwell's Power of Five for network marketers. If you have not grabbed that book yet, I want to challenge you to grab it. It's really fast, it's really simple, and really easy to read through. Who doesn't love John Maxwell? I mean, he's going to be at convention. We're so excited. So that started to grow belief in the industry. Like, oh, okay, this is like really cool. We can be proud network marketers. We don't have to be like, I secretly share Blacksmiths. I'm like one of those things. No, I am a proud professional network marketer. This is my business. I help empower other women with health, hope, and happiness. This is my jam. And I have products that work. And so it ended up this like beautiful cycle of learning to develop myself, and I would grow my belief in me. But the first step in belief in me was keeping promises to myself. Because I'm really good, if I'm being honest, at keeping promises to other people, sometimes to my own detriment. If I said I'm going to do something, I'm going to bring you dinner, I'm going to do it, come hell or high water, I'm doing it. But there were times where I'd be like, I'm going to start walking, I'm going to start moving, I'm going to do the squats challenge. And then like 3 days in, I'm like, my butt hurts, I can't do this anymore. And I let myself off the hook. I'm like, I'll do it later. Or, oh, I'll just do it another day. Or I just don't feel like it. Or nobody's really going to notice. But I learned that I needed to keep promises to me, because if I wasn't, then I wouldn't trust me. And if I don't trust me, how is anybody else going to trust me? Because if we don't lead ourselves well, we will always lead others wrong. And that's what I did. I learned how to lead myself well. I couldn't afford not to anymore. It wasn't a hobby. This was going to be a legacy business that wasn't just going to bless our family, but now thousands of families, and for years to come. So then I heard about Eric Worre. He has a book, and it's called Go Pro. If you haven't read that book, you need to get it. And you need to do a book study with your leaders, because that's what we did. We did that book study in the last year with our leadership team. And then we thought, this is too good. We can't just keep this to leadership, like all levels. Whoever wants in, we're doing this. We learned so much through that book to learn that being a professional network marketer will pay you like a professional. When you're a hobbyist and you show up sometimes, you're going to make money sometimes. But when you're consistent and you show up, and that compounded effort really does do just that, compounds over time, that's where the beautiful passive residual income starts to come along. But it's the work that you're doing day in and day out that makes such a huge difference. So I started to have the belief right away in the products and in the company. And then I learned to have belief in myself. And then last but not least was a belief in the industry. Having those beliefs really propelled my business forward, but not just my business, my own health testimony. Because that way, I was a product of the products. I became the walking billboard. So there are times I don't have to say anything. People see the transformation, and then they're asking me what I'm doing. Do I just post and pray? No, I don't just post and pray somebody's going to come out of the woodwork. I am very intentional with inviting people to the table to join me in what I'm doing. Because that's part of what we do. We share products we love with people we love. But in order to grow a network marketing business, you have to network. You have to, and you get to expand your friend circle. I always think of that one movie, and it has you're in the circle of trust, right? You're in the circle of trust. Well, that circle of trust can be very small and it can be very intimate, which is great. But then growing that circle to be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then before you know it, corporate is calling you, asking you to go to another continent to share what you guys are doing. And what we're doing is in-person events. We do a lot of in-person events. So these are meant and created to be duplicated no matter where you are. So yes, we do the book club and that's Zoom. And yes, we do the weekly team call, that's Zoom. But we started a walking group on Friday mornings, just anyone and everyone could join us. We're like, we just started posting. So it's just me and two of my best friends and our kids. We just started walking the lake. And then we would make sure we marketed the heck out of it. We took pictures, all nasty, sweaty, grimy. Okay, we're out here walking, week 1, we're committing to this. We're going to be out here every week for the next whatever weeks. Well, then we started marketing that. We started sharing and started tagging, and then we started inviting our VIP customers. Maybe not brand ambassadors, they were welcome, but inviting other people to the table that maybe didn't see where they fit yet. So then we started walking, and that 3 blew up to like 30 women every week showing up. Didn't happen overnight, it happened over time. Well, then we had so many girls joining us that we needed to talk, because that's what we do. And you couldn't get enough talking in the amount of lake laps. So we found a local Christian shop that's actually VIP customers of mine. They carry our Plexus Lean shakes on hand. Business tip, talk to businesses about carrying lean protein. Especially coffee shops, they can order in bulk, wholesale prices, get paid back for what they're already purchasing, and then they resell it. So he charges $8 for that protein shake. It is so good. I will pay $8 every Friday. I can make it at home, but there's something special about the way he does it. So then we started marketing that. This coffee shop, we're going to be here after we walk. We're going to go talk. And they have our lean protein. You're welcome to join us. So then that group, some would show up just for the coffee and conversation. Some would show up just for the walking, and some would show up for both. So every Friday, if you look back, you'll see that you know where to find us. So we started having more and more people show up for that. Well, out of that, we quickly outgrew the little coffee shop, and we had to start hosting more events. So we were like doing sip and seas around the table again. People are desperate for community and fellowship. We weren't created for isolation. We weren't. And so now more than ever, people are longing for real physical connections more than ever before. And so we knew that, especially as women, we need that. And you're creating a positive, healthy culture and community around you. You can literally elevate the entire room by that positive interaction. When one wins, everybody wins. So we're celebrating each other. We outgrew the little kitchens, we outgrew the coffee shop, and we host a monthly event now where anyone and everyone is welcome. It's a mix and mingle. And so we have a fun little slide presentation that we do drawings, we do samples at the end. We mix and match like different pink drinks and different actives, and you pour some bubbly on there and you have a cute little cup. We answer questions, and we just have a time of fellowship. Again, anyone and everyone is welcome. And now we're on that verge of making another jump because we're outgrowing that. So there's like, now we need like another night to be able to do it. But when we started doing that, Fridays didn't always work for everybody. It's just not going to. As your team gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it just won't work. That's okay. You know what they started to do? They duplicated it. They started hosting their own walking and conversation, some on Saturday, some on Tuesday night, some on Wednesday night. So they started just duplicating what we were already doing, growing a positive, healthy culture and community. And so in that, that's how we totally transformed the whole team dynamic. And so now when we show up, they're like, oh my gosh, we can go anywhere. And they're like, you're the Plexus girls. And it's not a negative connotation. It's a, oh my gosh, you're the Plexus girls. Yeah, we are. Well, how can we help you? What do you need? So you're learning along the journey to grow your belief in the company, in the products. The belief in the industry comes when you research and you find out actually what it is and what direct sales looks like versus network marketing. So I have a great illustration for you. If I have a minute, Andrea. Okay. So direct sales is the one-to-one. You are the middle person. You have a customer And you bypass everything and they have direct access to the wholesale. The wholesaler, the warehouse sells it directly to them, and then you are rewarded for that referral, right? As an individual. But the really cool part about network marketing is that you can develop franchise owners. So what it looks like is then they have a direct connection to the warehouse and the people that they share with. Then they are there for then their own franchisee. Can you see the difference? McDonald's, network marketing. Starbucks, network marketing. Real estate brokers, network marketing. There's a broker, he owns the whole brokerage. Under that broker, he has several real estate realtors. As they sell homes, they're leveraging his name or her name. They're leveraging the advertising. They are covering all of the shipping, all the costs, the business. They simply share a product and are paid back for the product that they're sharing. That's how commissions works. So there's a big difference that you could be in direct sales and you would have to possibly have thousands of followers and maybe make some, or you can choose network marketing as an avenue of income. And then you're helping other people to develop their own franchisees. Are you saying the same thing that you've already been saying? Yes. Is it in a new way? Yes. Will people relate and understand that better? Because e-commerce is not going anywhere. There are so many companies that are out there right now that are changing the way they do business to leverage their customer base to be their face. No longer are you going to see as many celebrities marketing and sharing things. Instead, they want real people with real experiences that are actually using the products. And that's where you come along. It's not like you're just ordering something on Amazon. You get it from who knows where in somebody's backyard or garage, no guarantee and no way to know how to take it. That's the belief in you. Because when you're sharing with people, they're not just getting an amazing product with an amazing company, but they're getting you. They're getting you. And John Maxwell says, you are qualified. You are that girl when you have done the things yourself. So you are totally qualified to show someone else how to use the products because you're doing it. You are totally qualified to show somebody else how to work this as an incredible business opportunity because you yourself are doing the things. Do you have to know all the things? No. You just have to know where to go to find the information or who to ask. So growing belief, it can simply start like it did for me. You can borrow someone else's belief until you have your own. But then once you have your belief, you have belief in the products and the company and the belief in the industry, you truly become unstoppable. And then you have that unshakable belief that nothing can come along. And those husbands of ours who might in the beginning be like, I don't know about this, they end up missing out and not going to Australia the first time, but you better believe he'll be on that flight the second time. So Andrea, do we have time for questions or anything?
Yes, I would love that. And I am laughing because I knew your husband didn't go to Australia with you. I think she's your teammate, right? That got to go with you. And then she,
my best friend, Kimberly.
Yes. And then that is even funnier that when you say it that way. I loved every minute of hearing like the details, like the backstory. And Plexus is so funny because I won't say it's gossip, but like people tell other people's stories, like, and it kind of gets like a game of telephone and you're like, how did this happen? And they're like, well, I think it happened this way. And you're like, oh, okay. And then I get to actually hear it from you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so much better from the source. And it's not like it's bad gossip. It's just like, oh, she's doing parties. This is how it started. But to hear like the beginning part of all of that, because even Sarah, who's on the call, says, I started a walking group and it didn't work. And it's like, well, maybe a walking group's not your thing. Like maybe it's something else. And I just think it's so like, it was literally you with one person. And then y'all invited a couple of more people. And then like what we have to remember so often is it's weeks later, months later. It's like 6 months later, all of a sudden a third friend joins us and we're like, oh, we should be talking about this. We didn't even think about, it's like, it's the over time stuff. What we tend to do, and y'all tell me you're on the call, is we go, oh, I'm going to start hosting events. I'm going to start big, giant events like what Jenna's doing right now. And they're going to be amazing. And it's like 4 people come and you're like, I wonder why this isn't working. It's like, because they started with their 4 people on a walk and then they started going to the coffee shop and then they start, like so often we want to hit somebody else's like level 10 and like come swooping in and do what's working at level 10 and miss levels 1 through 10. And so I just love the fact that you actually backtracked so much of where it started so that where you are right now and what's working makes sense because you started small and intentional and in acts of service. Then it grew. You didn't expect what you have right now, probably like meeting wise, you didn't expect to have to grow again, but you grew again because you were intentional with step 1. And I just think that's so, we have to make sure that we're really intentional with step 1 and we're not trying to jump ahead to step 10 in the same way that we do with our products. I just think it's so intentional. Okay. I would definitely want to leave time for Q&A. So somebody unmute, go quick and ask your question that you've been dying to ask the entire last 42 minutes.
I just have a super quick question. Did you start with for your walking group, did you start with a Facebook group or did you open a Facebook group?
Nope.
Where would you add all of your walking people?
All on Facebook. We just made public posts and we're like, we're going to be here. And then in private messages, one-on-one communication and invitations. Now we do have a support page. We have a family support page is what we call our team page. But see, I've always done 2 different things. Before we had buckets, right? Like we have now, we always treated our wholesale VIP customers, our wholesale brand ambassadors as VIP customers. Some were going to share, some were not going to share. Some just joined because they wanted the discount, but they had no intention to share. So we specifically talked to them in the bucket they're in. So we would make a big post in the support page. We're going to be out on Friday mornings. We're going to start walking. So it was there. But a lot of our growth came from just the public posts. We're going to be joining. We're going to be out there walking and talking. If you'd love to come, you don't need to be on the products. You don't need, like, we just started inviting friends. And then from that, like, it just blew up. And then people would comment. We never put the address publicly because I don't want any creepy people showing up. No. So we have several police officers on our team and they're like, Jenna, you got to stop putting out the address of where you're going to be. Just send that private. So we would just send them, like, just post, we're going to be out on tomorrow morning at 8:00, 7 o'clock, come join us if you're out there. And then people would comment and we'd say, okay, I'll DM you the address. And then it just kind of blew up from there. So it was touching base in all the intimate ways, but remembering at the core, everybody wants to be invited personally. Making posts publicly might get you a few core people, but the private invitations is where the excitement and the connection happens. Just like a baby shower. If you're going to have a baby shower, you're going to make a post. I'm having a baby shower. It's 7 o'clock on Saturday night. I hope you guys can make it. You might have 4 friends that show up. Your mom, your best friend, and your mother-in-law, and so, right? But if you privately invite all the people that you want to be there, your opportunity, the chances of having them actually show up greatly increase. And women are waiting to be invited to your table. So that private invitation made a world of difference.
I think the genius part of that is that so often we actually want to create a Facebook group, which actually is the opposite of what you're trying to do. You're actually trying to get them offline and in person. Mm-hmm. So I do think that creating less groups, less chats, less threads on social media is actually really intentional of, I want to figure out how to get face-to-face with you. And that is that personal invitation. And I just think that is, I mean, if Jenna is, if she has there's like 27 different points of like importance today that I feel like we could, kind of spin off of, but the face-to-face service of, I want to invite you to the table, which is, that's what our team page is called, is the table. Like, everyone has a seat, pull up a chair. I want to invite you. But she's so right. Women want to personally be invited which is where we've got to stop posting on social media and saying, geez, I really hope someone loves this post and hits the poll and they're my next, superstar. And we've got to start like calling women up and saying, hey, I really want you to go to Mexico with me. I really want you to go to Australia with me. I want you to be the person that is sitting next to me,
on the cruise.
When our name is called up on stage, like these are fun things. And you're the person I want sitting next to me. So you're the person I want to, spend the time with. Did y'all hear her say at the beginning what she knew about both Jenna Smith and Bridget Ryan there was a no trust factor. There was, I care about you. I feel like you care about me. I know your heart and your intentions and I trust you. I'm not sure she totally trusted Bridget, but she's gotten there since then.
Absolutely.
But she trusted Bridget through Jenna too. Did you see that? Like you may not, like your friend Beth may not join you directly, but she may join your level one because they have a closer relationship. And Beck and I would say that like there are people that joined under Beck because they had closer relationships, even though we knew each other. The second they knew Becky was in, they were like, whoa, Becky Paige is in? I'm in. And I was like, okay, I didn't have that kind of clout, but someone else does. And so I just think that relational part is like what I'm personally taking away is that relational part. Okay, somebody else unmute and ask a question.
Okay, I have a question. What are some things that help grow belief? How do you help grow belief into your new business builders, or because they're starting out where you were, they're trying to borrow belief, but how do you help them grow in that area?
Oh my gosh, the power of testimonies. We say on our team, you cannot unsee or unhear the testimonials. So I know that there are several incredible jewels. Andrea, are you guys doing the call on Thursday nights? That's an amazing tool. Leverage that with your VIP customers. Get them on that call. It's not for sales so much for your existing VIPs as building belief for them, because they're going to hear or see something. I had my cousin, she's been watching me for, yes, real people, real results, or real stories. She's been watching me for 4 years and she finally came on board. She signed up on a Monday. On Thursday night, I'm like, you got to get on this call with me. I just want you to hear the stories. By the end of the call, she's texting me, adding things to her order. She's like, I need the ease. I need the things. Like, what else I'm like, girl, I told you. But it was third-party validation. So even though I was telling her all the things and she's literally family, her hearing it from someone else built her belief. And then leveraging the follow-up. It builds belief in them when they know that you're just as excited the second time they order as you were the first time they ordered. The third time, 90 days should be like a hoorah party, something for that individual. Because they're 5 times more likely when they hit 90 days to go on to have an incredible transformation in a year. But that work falls on you because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know it takes 90 days for human cells to regenerate or something crazy. We know that. We know that 90-day marker is huge. So it's just pouring out belief into them and being consistent and staying in touch. They did not buy a purse from you. They did not buy lipstick from you. They did not buy buttery smooth leggings or a candle. Right? Getting over I don't want to be salesy. You already sold that. Now you get to follow up with them and support them. So also expectations, having those communications. But I have a magic question for you that really has worked very well. And I learned it in Australia. So I'm going to share it. So the magic question is when you're enrolling someone, you're sponsoring, not enrolling, because anybody can enroll in something, but a sponsor is someone who says they're going to take care of them. It's the verbiage. It's what you say and how you say it. So in sponsoring someone, you are helping them have incredible transformation. You're not just signing them up for something. Anybody can go sign up for something. You can sign up for the gym, doesn't mean you're going to show up. But when you have a sponsor, they're going to be there. They're going to encourage you. They're going to support you. They're going to help you. They're the girl, right? So the magic question is, because we all get it when they get to the referral link part, right? What is that for? That's the free referral link that the company gives you. Other companies will charge you for it. Plexus never does. And then I said, I got to know, are you the friend who shares things she loves with the people she loves? And you don't talk. You let them answer. Are you the type of girl who shares things she loves with the people she loves? They will tell you all the reasons they are going to share. Girl, if this stuff works, I'm telling everybody, oh, it's going to work. Then I talk. It is going to work. We're just going to give it 90 solid days. We're going to get you going. I'm going to help you have the most incredible results. By the way, who do you know we can bless with this promo code? When you bless 3 people, it's $300 this month, just to start. Sometimes if they are like, no, I don't really share, I don't post. Okay, great. Happy VIP customer, incredible results. You're still getting points, but happy VIP customers who have amazing results, they end up sharing. So it's just a smoother transition to figuring out who's going to do what very quickly. Instead of trying to talk them out of stuff. Or what I would be really good at in the beginning, I would puke plexus all over them. I would tell them the entire compensation plan. You're here, you want to go here, and you got to, and oh my gosh, they'd be like, I just wanted to know how much it was. Like, so once they hit that level, then you share, okay, this is what's next. This is, because if all you ever talk about is bless 3, get your products free, or bless 3, get 300, then that's all you're going to get. You're going to get a lot of silvers. That's all. But then you lose the ability to cast a bigger vision for people. And that's where belief comes from, Christy, is you having a sound vision of where you're going. And then that vision will just catalyst off to everybody else. And they'll be borrowing your belief. And before you know it, you'll be borrowing their belief at times. Because it's just a cycle of how that works. But every time you hit a belief barrier, you have 2 options. You can stay put or you can break through. And I want to challenge you to break through those limiting beliefs that all too often will hold you back from that next level, that next thing. And know too, when people start, they don't know what they don't know. They haven't bought in yet. They don't know the products actually work. They don't know that the opportunity is real, that this isn't a scheme or something. That we get to show them that we're doing it differently. And that's what Plexus does, is it does things the way it should be done and the way it can be done, but it is rarely done in our industry.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. If no one's going to ask, the one thing I want to ask is how important is Leaders Retreat, is actually being intentional about this contest that started, what is today, Monday? Started on Saturday. How would you, like, I know, I realize that we're not your team, but how would you hype up this team, or at least impart the wisdom and importance of actually going for this contest?
I think it's huge. I love, first of all, the timing could not be more perfect, because this is the thing. And I told my leaders this cruise is actually not about you. It's not about you. It's about who you can take with you. So coming up with a list of people that are already on your team. You might have diamonds in your downline right now that you don't even know are there because you haven't invited them. You know those girls that you would love to travel with. You're like, oh my gosh, this would be so much fun. Make a list. Make a list. They could be VIP customers. They can be brand ambassadors. They might not even be on your team yet. But who do you know that you can take with you? There are women and men that are joining now that are going to sweep this contest, that are going to be on that cruise. And I would tell you, work hard and work fast. There are very limited spaces. You don't want to be the last ones on the list. You want to be those first few that are just sweeping it all. It's only 1,250 points. That's it for a convention contest. Or not for a convention, for the cruise contest. 1,250 points. Map it out. Get with your upline or your jewel and sit down and have a strategic plan of action. Because if you put cruise up on a vision board and it just sits there with no plan, it's just going to sit there as a dream and a goal. But if you don't have a plan of action behind it, then you're not going to know how to get there. You're going to need that roadmap. But having that bigger vision, make a goal, not just that you're going to earn the trip, because when you help enough other people earn that trip, you're going to earn that trip. And that's not just the only trip. If you are earning that and you have other people earning that, you are earning Mayakoba, you are earning Hawaii, you are going to be a six-figure earner driving a Lexus as a jewel. Now, by all means, you can run and you can earn it all on your own. But it's so much more fun when we help other people get what they need and what they want. Ultimately, we will get what we need and what we want in the end. But being others focused is my approach to this contest, is like, who can I take with me? Who can I help earn their spot to join me on this cruise?
Jenna, thank you so much for taking an entire hour out of your Monday. I mean, if y'all didn't catch it, 7 kids. The woman is busy, and you have just blessed us so much by giving us an entire hour of belief building. Your energy, if I could just tap in, I just need like your energy is like next level. Like when we do active plus, it's going to be a little Jenna thrown in there, because that is like next level energy that is just, honestly, when Beck and I talk about all the time, I'm like, first year energy. When we had that first year like energy, and you still got it because you're in momentum, because you're still seeing good things happen, and you're still seeing fruit being produced in this business, and you're still seeing women come to financial freedom and health freedom, like that fuels that energy. And so I know that you're being more fueled by all the obedient things that you're doing with your business. And I just think that is impressive and amazing. Thank you. I just personally, like, I appreciate that you've gotten to pour into everybody else, but just personally, you've poured so much belief and excitement into me, and just a renewed faith in what we do and why we do it, and a new vigor to go and do new things and be bold with them. So thank you, friend. I really appreciate it.
You are so welcome.
Bye, y'all.